What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM pregame live streaming to here exclusively on DSM Media's YouTube channel, Phillies Mariners preview. Guys, if you are new to the channel, first and foremost, make sure to check us out on Twitter at DSM_media. Hit that follow button. We greatly appreciate it. And while you're over on the channel, make sure to check out the link tree in our bio. It will take you to every social media platform we are available on. If you guys want to be interactive through any of our shows here at DSM or check out any of the DSM pregame lives for the Phillies, Sixers, and Eagle seasons, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and head on over to the YouTube channel specifically. What's going on, Abe? I am one half of your host, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter at DylanJD98. To my right, my co-host tonight, George Ryder. You can find him on Twitter as well at _George Ryder, my man. How is it going? We have a Mariners fan in the comments. Luke, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, Dill? It's a beautiful Tuesday. Took 3 or 4 in Colorado. Could have used a sweep, but
could have.
Can't complain. The first game was probably the most embarrassing game I've ever attended in my entire life. That was absolute horrid. But they bounced back. They went 3 in a row, and things are on the up. They look like a good baseball team right now.
The things are on the up, man. And let's start there. Before we get into tonight's pitching matchup, any keys, the lineup cards, all that good stuff. Let's start with the Phillies looking for 4 straight, right? So they have won 3 straight, obviously taking 3 of 4 at home over the weekend against the Colorado Rockies. You mentioned it. Should have, could have, would have taken 4 out of 4 from Colorado if it wasn't for a 5-0 disastrous loss last Thursday night. But they've won 3 straight. They've won 6 of 8, which I think is a little bit more of the bigger picture kind of thing here, right? They're 11-12 on the season. You and I had been talking a lot through the first couple weeks. I remember when they started, 0-4, 1-5, all that good stuff. And it's like, just get back to 500. Get back to 500. Be around 500 by the time Bryce and Ranger come back, and now you get the ball rolling, and you're kind of there. Now, but you're in this very weird place of, okay, they look better over the last 3, over the last 8, right? The power numbers are showing now for Trey, for Costi, right? Starters are getting deeper into the game. The back end of the bullpen has been spectacular with Alvarado and Gregory Soto, and Sir Anthony has been better. So there's positives to take away, but you're in this weird spot of it's 3 against the Rockies, right? Like now, what can we really pick at from that series and say this is consistent moving forward? What was your biggest kind of takeaway? Obviously, you had the Costi game on Saturday, right? Trey starts off the game on Sunday with his first shot at Citizens Bank Park. What could you really take away from this weekend?
Yeah, obviously Thursday, I went into Thursday. I was at the game, so I tailgated a little bit, and I'm talking to my friends, and it's like Colorado's lost 8 in a row. This team sucks. We have to sweep. Got to take 4. Jump off the game 1 like that was just absolutely horrid. But like I said before, comeback. They're resilient. They were resilient last year. They showed it really well, and they're resilient this year. You look at the bullpen right now, man. No earned runs that entire weekend. And I think that's the biggest thing that I took away from the weekend personally. Obviously, the bats were looking good. Stott looked good. Turner got his power. Castellanos got his power, I guess. I mean, my God, that was back Costi. I got the receipts. But, yeah, I think the bullpen was my biggest takeaway. No earned runs absolutely shut down Colorado, which we can say it again. Colorado's not a bad team, or Colorado is a bad team. Bad teams win games. That happens. They're going to beat good teams. Bullpen goes in there, they shut it down. I think Kimbrel looks so much better than he did before. Kimbrel looked unplayable. He looked like he couldn't pitch him, and he's bounced back. He's had some couple really good outings.
Sir Anthony's looked better.
Good. Sir Anthony looks back. Alvarado's still the best reliever in all of baseball. Not arguable right now. So yeah, seeing the bullpen this weekend was really, really awesome. I went to 2 of the games. I went to 3 of the games actually, and I saw the Thursday game, and I went Saturday and Sunday. And Saturday and Sunday were just
big Phil's fan.
Big Phil's, big free ticket guy.
Yeah.
A lot of it was like a nice flip from what we saw in the beginning.
No, I think when you look at the bullpen over the weekend, it's probably the most glaring positive you can take away because they started trending in a positive direction even before this Colorado series, right? So when you look at some of the things offensively, when you look at some of the decision making by Rob Thompson, you're still kind of questioning, right? When you look at that implosion of an inning by Zach Wheeler, there are some concerns still moving forward because it was against the Rockies. But this bullpen, especially specifically the back end of it, man, Gregory Soto has been lights out, I believe, since that Yankee start
Yep.
in game 4 of the season, right? He's
Yep.
been phenomenal since then. Alvarado, outside of a solo home run given up to Jorge Soler and the Marlins, has been, like you said, the best pitcher, the best reliever in the majors right now. Kimbrel looks better. Cervantes looks better. And the big thing for me is not only have they been consistently great / dominant, especially over this weekend, it's very important that the starters continue to at least get into the 6th. The goal should always be 6 innings pitched, right? However, if you can get me 5 1/3, 5 2/3, that's what sets up the bread and butter for this bullpen. That's what makes Rob Thompson's life easier and more simple with this bullpen, because guess what, George? You only have to manage it for the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And you have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 guys. And, you have some other guys that Bilotti's hurt now, but you have some other guys who can throw for this pen. But you have 4 guys for 3 innings work. The problem earlier in the season was guys are getting tugged in the 4th. Guys are getting to the 5th, but not recording it out and giving up 3 runs, and the bases are loaded, and now you're bringing in Soto in the 5th, or you have to go to Brogdon. No. If the starters can continue to get deeper into ball games, it allows Rob Thompson to manage this bullpen with a longer leash with those 4 back end guys, and they were phenomenal against the Colorado Rockies, dude.
Yeah, like I'm actually very shocked that he kept Wheeler in for that extra inning, if I'm being honest. I kind of expect him to pull him. But on the other hand, it's like you kind of gotta give him a little bit, right? Like he is your piece, and you gotta give him a little bit there. He did great, man. Like Wheeler had a really good game, and strikeouts were there. The velo was up early, which is so awesome. If you got Nolan Wheels pitching like they should be pitching, that's what it is. Like right now, the way Aaron Nola's throwing, it's like it's terrifying, man. Like it's scary.
It is the biggest key moving forward. It's everything for this team. That's why fans, you can criticize and be frustrated game to game with Rob Thompson's leash with these guys. You can damn sure be frustrated with the implosions that you're getting from Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. I'm right there with you. But you have to allow them and let Rob Thompson allow them to work through this early on in the season, George, because if he doesn't, like the Phillies are going nowhere without those 2 dudes at the top of this rotation pitching at a high level. That's just the bottom line. So if they can't figure it out, if this is more than a first 5 start type of thing, the Phillies have much bigger issues than just a random series in April. Yeah. You're not going anywhere in October if those 2 aren't at the top of their game.
No, if this is the Wheels and Nolas that we're getting for the majority of the season, we might squeeze in the playoffs, right? Like that, we might do that. You need guys up at the top of the rotation. You need them. It's a fact. We saw it last year with Nola and Wheels both pitching out of their minds, being absolutely dominant last season. And that's the thing about Nola, man. Like Nola strikes guys out, right? He's not striking guys out this year. I think his case per 9 is like 7. Like I'm pretty sure in his career it's like 9 to 10 range. It's like it's a little scary that he's not missing the bats like he should be. I am very scared about Nola. I'm not gonna lie. Like I tend not to overreact, but Nola is scaring me. Wheeler really, the last start helped me a lot with my confidence in him. Mm-hmm. It's Zach Wheeler, man. Like you got to think.
He also went 7 against Miami before that, so
yes, and like these guys pitched longer than they have in their entire career. Like last season, they pitched into October, and like they haven't done that. Maybe it takes a little bit to ramp up again, right? Like Wheeler's velo's getting back up there in the beginning of the games and all that, and that's also 100% true with the bats. Yes, I mean I'm pretty sure on the broadcast, Stott's home run, that was like the 3rd one with runners in scoring position this year for the Phillies. Yeah. It's not ideal.
I would say to this comment, I agree, man. I would just say I don't know if deceiving is the right word, because that's, kind of alluding to the fact that it's deceiving and they're not actually producing anything. Like, the bats were fine over the weekend. I think what the issue is, like, you're 100% on point with the runners in scoring position issue, the strikeout with runners in scoring position issue, everything like that. But I think, like, I have more of a positive takeaway on the bats with those poor numbers than most people. Like, I view it as the fact that they are having multiple double hit type of performances, 12 base runners, 14 base runners, 15 base runners per game. Like, because to me, I view, like, the runners in scoring position a short-term problem. Like, I think they figure it out. When Bryce comes back, that obviously helps out the lineup. That helps out that kind of. So, like, I agree that it's definitely been one of the main issues this season. Now, base running has been an issue for this team offensively, right? But I would say, like, I don't view that as a long-term problem. I think that the Phillies bats and lineup will be fine. I don't think that this runner in scoring position issue is a long-term issue. So,
like, Dill, we're second in all the major leagues in hits.
That's what I'm saying, and that's to his point. He
no,
basically saying
100%. Like, I know what he's saying. I know what he's saying. It's true. Running scoring position has been a major.
I just think that figures itself out. I don't view that as something they're gonna struggle with all year. It was my point. But listen, man, let's get into this matchup tonight. And let's look on over to those bats that we are discussing right now. Here is your lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies as they look to make it 4 straight. Bryson Stott leading off at second base. Trey Turner batting second over at shortstop. Kyle Schwarber DHing batting third. Nick Castellanos batting fourth in right field. JT Realmuto batting fifth at catcher. Alec Boehm over at first base tonight batting sixth. Edmundo Sosa batting seventh over at third base. Brandon Marsh out in center field batting eighth. And Christian Pache gets the nod in left field batting ninth, man. Look, talk to me about this lineup. And I want to point this out as well. There's been some discrepancies, some differences, maybe 8 and 9, 7 through 9. I will say 1 through 6, 1 through 7 has started to figure itself out for Rob Thompson. And I would just like to say thank you. Thank you for not switching up the whole lineup and having this person play for 2 days and then sitting for 2 days. Thank you, Rob, for having a consistent 1 through 7. And whatever you want to do, 8, 9 is fine. But what do you think of this lineup, George? I mean, I guess the first thing that sticks out to me would probably be Brandon Marsh, back in the 8 hole when he was batting fifth all weekend. But
yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that really sticks out of anything. I love that Jake Cave is not in this lineup because he's the worst baseball player I've ever seen in my entire life. And, like, there's no, like, Pache and Jake Cave, it's not even an argument, man. Like, Pache is just the potential, just everything about him. Just
Kevin Long, man.
I actually didn't even mention
Long.
I didn't even mention to you. Yeah, I mean, dude, Pache was like a top 25 prospect in baseball. Marsh was like, what, top 40? So it's like,
baby,
give him some time, right? But I forgot to tell you, this weekend I did see Jay Cave drive off, and it took every bone in me to not yell at him. But he was signing autographs. I was at CVP, and, like, these kids start chasing a truck, and I was like, oh, I wonder who that is, and it's Jake fucking Cave. And it's like, I wanted to yell something, but I'm like, I'm not a jerk. I'm not a mean guy. So, yeah.
A lot of willpower, man.
Yeah, a lot of willpower. This lineup's fine with me. I'm just glad Jake Cave's not in it. That's pretty.
No, I mean, obviously, when you have Pache out there in the 9 hole, I mean, it obviously makes your defense a lot better. When you talk about him and Marsh being out in center and left together, and you're not having to worry about a Jake Cave or hella Josh Harrison or Kyle Schwarber playing left field, it definitely makes you better defensively. It gives you some speed at the back end of this lineup now with those 3 with Sosa, Marsh, and Pache. If I say Pache one more time, and Pache at the back end. And to be honest, like, I'm not sold at all. The kid infuriates me. He frustrates the hell out of me. However, like, I guess just because of the sour taste he put in my mouth through the first, 2 starts or whatever, it feels like he's, like, hitting 111, but really he's hitting, like, 300 right now, and just drove 400 plus feet over the center field wall over the weekend, which I didn't think he could ever do in his career. So whatever's starting to click, whatever's working, Kevin Long experience, whatever it is, man, hey, like you said, you can't hate it any more than if it was Jake Cave or Cody Clemens or Josh Harrison in the lineup at this point. So
Yep.
just maybe I overreacted and jumped the gun with Christian Pache. See how easy that is to do, Phillies fans. Like it's very easy to just say like you overreacted, but whatever.
He's never. I'm with you, man. Like he's never been a good hitter in the MLB ever. Like ever. I'm gonna give K Long a shot right here, and like maybe give him a little time with the kid. But we'll see, man. I got no like real faith in him. Like it's okay. I'm not like to be honest.
Bomer being moved up the lineup is definitely a conversation I feel like we have all the time on this pregame show. And he's batting 6th now, where he was batting, 7th for most of the weekend. So he slid up one spot. The question just really, I guess, becomes where would you like to put him if it's not 6? Like I would move him above JT. That's just me. Like I would have him batting 5th probably and JT batting 6th. You're not putting him in cleanup. He's not batting 1 or 2. There's going to be some people out there that says he should bat 3, but then you're really mixing up that lineup. Like, what are you going to put Schwarber in the 6 or 7 hole? Like, talk about a guy that needs to see more at bats for more pitches and power numbers. So I do agree with you. It's incredibly weird that like maybe one of their highest average hitters and one of their most pure hitters is in the 6 and 7 hole consistently. I just think that kind of alludes to the strength of this lineup, especially when Bryce is back and healthy. Nah. I can't put him 4th with Bryce back. I don't. I'm not. Listen, not that Castellanos is hitting for any type of pop right now, really, outside that one game. But like, I don't know. I just don't view Bohm as it. I would put him at 5th. That is where I would put Alec Bohm.
I agree with you. I put him at 5. I would not.
I know that doesn't sound crazy, 4 to 5, but I mean, I can't put him top 4. I don't think he hits for power consistently enough. And I know that sounds crazy when we're talking about Nick Castellanos being your DH, but
but it's true. And Costy's been giving you the doubles, man.
That is true. Costy's been great. Costy has been phenomenal. Last thing I'll ask you, it's not just tonight's lineup. I think it was like a cool little experiment that they tried out, and like it is really stuck now, man. Like there's no way Bryson Stott doesn't continue to hit leadoff. There's just not.
I'll be honest. I think we just found our leadoff hitter for the next 6 years.
And like
I really do.
Trey look at Trey was batting 3rd in LA last year. Like it was Mookie, Freddie, Trey, or Mookie, Trey, Freddie. Last year in LA, like he has hit in other areas of the top of the lineup outside of your leadoff guy. When it's Stott instead of Schwarber, it's not really like a roadblock on the base paths for him because it's not like a slow body over there at second base. It's interesting, man. So yeah, I think Bryson Stott and Trey Turner are probably the 2 most consistent parts of this lineup right now in terms of positioning where they're going to be.
Yeah, and I love him at the leadoff spot, man. Like at first I was like, I don't know. But Trey, I love Trey. He's the best. He's aggressive. And
Trey Turner is a lot more aggressive than I ever knew he was.
Yeah. And like Stott, man, like he waits for his at bats. He grinds out at bats. He fouls off every ball that you're gonna give him. That's kind of what you want at the top of your lineup, right? Like first at bat, you're gonna get 8 pitches on the leadoff hitter. I love it, and I'm so happy he tried it out because it really does seem like we've found the leadoff hitter for the future. Like it truly does.
Yeah, no, and to this point, I mean, this is spot on, and I'm so happy that Nick Castellanos has come out like a bat out of hell.
You kept all the receipts.
I have the receipts, bro. He was like Bryce is already like locked in as like your favorite Philly, right? Like he just has to be what he embodies and the type of talent that he is. How do you not love him and the personality and everything? But when they made that trade for Castellanos, I think you and I shared the same kind of sentiment. Like, is he like your second favorite player? Like the personality, the toughness, the talent, everything. And when you watch the down year that he had last year, the lack of power, the 265, 267 batting average, the strikeouts, the lack of plate discipline, it sucked to see, right? And you get him back this year, and he's hitting in that 4 hole where he started last year, to start the season, and he's exceeding any type of expectations even you and I could have had to start.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal, dude. Phenomenal.
He's been so good, man.
Yeah, I'm just so happy, like, with everything he's been doing. I really am. And, like, the average is there, too. And he's, like, I'm pretty sure he's, like, top 10 in runs as well somehow. Yeah, it's great.
Yep. And listen to Swope's point earlier, like you brought up runners in scoring position. I feel like Costi has come up numerous times with 2 outs and runners in scoring position and come through early on in this season. So he's been one of the more consistent guys at that. Listen, man, let's get on over to the pitching matchup. And we're looking at Bailey Falter on the bump tonight for the Phillies. And, you know, what a fall from grace since Sunday Night Baseball in Texas a couple weeks ago, man. Bailey Falter has just plummeted back down to earth for me. Listen, I know I get the start in Chicago. I get the fact that he gave up a 3-run home run and then didn't give up anything else. He was the first Phillies pitcher to get through 7 innings. I get all of that, man. There is something to be said for when and how you give up runs. Like the second half of a doubleheader, you probably don't want to give up a 3-run moonshot in the bottom of the first inning and play from behind the whole game. So, like, regardless, Bailey Falter's 0 for 3 on the year with a 4.5 ERA, a 1.1 plus WHIP. What are we getting tonight from Bailey?
We're getting a 5th starter, Dill. So we're getting.
Can I be honest? Can I be honest with you? Like, I know a lot of teams just aren't loaded 1 through 5. Right? There's no more 4 aces out there with like Joe Blanton as your 5th. Like, they just don't exist, right? So I know there's a lot of teams that would probably take Bailey Falter as their 5th. So he is so fringe 5th starter for me. Like, I need. I'm sorry, dude. He is. He is.
I'm gonna get you a jersey, dude. Come on.
Get
on the Bailey wave. No, I like him as a 5 because, like, if you look around the MLB, it's just like the 4-5 positions for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Atrocious. Like, Falter's
I get it.
Yeah, Falter's fine, I guess. He's gonna give up a run in the first inning no matter what. It's gonna happen.
So you're saying to bet the Yerfie?
Probably.
Probably bet the Yerfie tonight.
I bet the Yerfie.
So what's your if you had to set goals for him to reach tonight? Innings pitched, max amount of earned runs tonight. What are you looking for?
Get into
the Phillies to have success. What does Bailey Falter need to do?
Get into the 5th inning. You know, you don't have to complete the 5th inning.
See, man, like that's setting the bar so low.
I know. And it is. It really is. I could see him going 5. Seattle hasn't, like, they're the type of team where they were very hyped up, I guess, you could say, at the beginning of the year. Young team, like, they're on the transcending.
They're incredibly young. They're incredibly raw.
Incredibly young. They haven't been playing well, but they haven't been playing good ball recently. It's kind of like the Phillies, but they have been worse. And even hitting-wise, like, Phillies have been much, much better. Marco Gonzalez is pretty solid. If Falter can give you 4 to 5 innings and let up, like, I want to say 2 runs, I want to say max 3, I think the Phillies can come out and win this ball game. Yeah. But it's obviously tough. 5th starter going up against Marco Gonzalez, like, it's a tough thing to predict. Dude, if he gives you 4 to 5 with 2 or 3 runs, I think I'm going to feel pretty confident. And if I'm dead wrong on this and we're going to the 5th inning and it's 6-1 Mariners, you can come at me. But I think it's what you got to expect.
Oh, listen. Oh, gosh. When I look at Bailey Falter tonight, excuse me, you mentioned to get into 5. I think he has to get through 5. I think that's the goal. Yeah. Like I know earlier on in the show, we talked about this bullpen and getting into the 6th or through 6 is the goal. You lower those standards a little bit when it's your 5th guy in Bailey Falter, but I think only getting through 4 is unacceptable for me. Like that is not your 5th starter. That's a bullpen game at this point. 4 innings or getting into 4 is a bullpen game. Let's call it what it is. So I think he needs to get through 5. If he gets through 4 2/3 and the pitch count is up and he's in a jam and you have to get 1 out, I guess, like, my God, like that's the worst case scenario for me, but he has to get into the 5th or through 5 for me tonight for Bailey Falter. The thing with him, like, man, just keep us in the game. And I understand, like to this point here, they've had a bad first inning and they do very good the rest of the way. That's true. But it's also like, look, man, if it's deflating for you and I, George, as a fan, to sit at home on television and feel negative about this team when they start 2-0 or down 3-0, how do you think the bats feel? Yeah. Like, Bryson Stott hasn't taken an at bat yet tonight. Bottom of the 1st, he comes up. If they're down 3-0, That's a
Yeah,
problem. That could be the only 3 runs he gives up, just like he did in Chicago. It's deflating, man. You
yep.
cannot allow that. So let the offense have a chance to come out and build you a lead. By the way, Swope, feel free to DM me on Twitter, man. My ad's up on the screen. We could talk there if you want, but this is huge, right? Like I think again, it's something we just look past. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like Bryce, but watered down, obviously. Like everyone wants to bitch and moan and complain about the bats, and this is what we're going to be this year. Like you're missing Bryce Harper. Like, do we recognize that? Like same thing here. Like you're missing your third starter. That's what he is right now, right? And I think I personally put a little too much weight on Taijuan Walker's shoulders. He hasn't quite lived up to my expectations so far. To be that kind of fringe 3-4 guy. I think when Ranger comes back, the assumption would be that Ranger is definitely your third best pitcher for the time being. Obviously, Walker has the ability to get hot and settle in a Phillies uniform, but yeah, I mean, getting Ranger back is going to be huge, man. And obviously, and again, it puts Matt Strahm back to where he belongs in the bullpen, which strengthens his bullpen.
That's like the biggest thing, man. Like Matt Strahm's been freaking unbelievable. He can go into the bullpen and give you 2 solid innings. Like I don't think people are thinking about how absolutely insane that is going to bolster.
Not even just 2 solid innings, man. If the starter gets through 5 1/3 and you need 2 outs in the 6th, or it's the 7th and there's 2 lefties coming up, you could feel confident and comfortable with Matt Strahm going out there in the top of the 7th or bottom of the 7th and getting you 3 outs and setting up Alvarado and company for the 8th and 9th. Like that's what he will be at this point. And I think if it wasn't for the starting jobs that he got early on in this year because of injury, maybe we wouldn't have had that mindset with him. Like, right. He's your lefty arm. He might be okay, but we'd probably be like, he's more of like a 5th, 6th inning type of bullpen piece. Like, I think you can feel confident with Matt Strahm on the bump in the 6th and 7th. I'm not anything past that. No, but
yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, I don't think we would be looking at that in this perspective at all.
No, if we didn't get the workload early on in the season, absolutely not.
Yeah, there's no shot. I mean, like he kind of came in here and it's like Red Sox fans kind of hate him. He's a bad starter. Hopefully we can turn around the bullpen. And it's like, now look at us. I love that guy. I might get his jersey.
Yeah, right. George, with that said, man, let's get into standout stars and game predictions. Who steps up for the Titans tonight, and do they find a way to come away with their 4th straight win and get back to 500 baseball?
I'm going standout star Nick Castellanos. He's 3 for 9 in his career against Marco. Pretty sure he's got 2 singles and a double. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm gonna take Costi.
So I won't be.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Costi. I think he goes out there, gives you maybe 2 hits, maybe get a little RBI action from him, and the Phillies win 7-4.
7-4. Titans win. So are you suggesting to take the Phillies run line?
I'm suggesting to take the over on the Phillies, the run line, Costi 2 bases.
Yeah,
whatever you gotta do.
And yes,
he was.
Yes.
And guess what? He needs a break. Like, let's be honest. This is a good IL stint. He needs a break. Yeah. Like, he's been overworked like crazy. Get him. It's fine.
Poor Bilotti. That's another strength, right? When he comes back and starters actually get through 5 innings work, the bullpen will still have nice pieces at the back end. But look, man, I'm contemplating where to go here, right? Because there's so many options. Costi pick's a great pick. You can point to Trey because you just want to start to see consistent pop from Trey's bat, right? Like he homered on Sunday, right? The last game. You want to start to see that consistency from his bat. So you can go there. He's your best player right now. Most talented player, I should say. You can go Bryson. For some weird reason, I'm going to go, what?
Pache.
Yeah, right. For some weird reason, I'm going to go with JT Realmuto. And here's why. Here's why. It's something I need to see. I need to start seeing JT Realmuto come up with runners in scoring position. I need to see JT Realmuto come up with a runner on 3rd and 2 outs in a critical moment and come up big, because for all the doubles down the line, for a home run against the Reds in the second or the first home series of the season, he hasn't been good enough from the plate, dude. And I also think JT Realmuto, he's the best catcher in baseball. The arm's ridiculous. Everything's ridiculous. we've always talked about his struggles to call a game behind home plate at times. He has struggled with that a little bit this year. So when you have a guy with Bailey Falter, guess what? He's not Zach Wheeler. He's not in control of this game. JT's going to have a lot of an effect and impact on this game right tonight. I need to see JT Realmuto, especially hitting in that fifth hole. You are hitting above Alec Boehm right now. I need to see why Rob Thompson has you hitting above Alec Boehm right now. I'll go with JT. I think that the Phils win tonight.
That's a
got
good
Edmundo being huge tonight. Edmundo has been so good. And like I was so against Boehm being permanent first base because like he's your future third baseman.
Mm-hmm.
You need your best 9 on the field, and your best 9 is Edmundo at third, Boehm at first. So unless you go out and trade for a permanent first baseman with the Rhys Hoskins injury, yeah, no, I'm with you. But like until anything like that happens, Boehm needs to play first. You could even make the argument like when Derek Hall's healthy again, Sosa and Boehm out there is better than Boehm and Hall. You could make that argument.
Yes.
But I think the Phils come away with a win tonight, man. I think that this team is turning the page. They're finally, you know what they're doing, George? They're having fun. They're having fun. They didn't look fun. They weren't playing inspired baseball. They didn't have any energy or momentum from night to night. You know, they would score 13 on the reigning NL Cy Young and then come out and get shut out, right? Like this team was so up and down. I think they're starting to trend in a consistent upward trajectory here. I think they're having fun. You see, obviously, the daycare with the Wooder after and Trey Turner and everything like that in post-game interviews. Keep having fun, man. You're in front of your home crowd before you go on a very strict and tough road trip coming up. And this home series is no walk in the park, right? With this young Mariners team. So take care of business tonight. I'm going to go with a Phils win. I'm going to go 5-3. As my W tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies. Guys, that is going to do it for this edition of DSM Pregame Live. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to check us out on Twitter first at DSM_media. Hit that follow button. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. While you're over on the channel, make sure to check us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. It is the best spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions. Pull it up here on the screen with us. For myself, for George Ryder, for DSM Media, have a great rest of your night and go Phils.
Back to 500.
And Philadelphia has it.